Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. I was in the middle of my workout and I was watching several videos one after the other in the background while I was working out. And I came up, I've been thinking about a few different things. The way this country, ideally, what should be happening here. I was listening to a video by Dr. Fauci talking about how Donald Trump has not attended a COVID-19 briefing in 5 months. We see him at the golf course, the golf course, watching Fox News and tweets. And seriously, so Dr. Fauci went on to talk about how that a vaccine will probably be likely in April, but we got to remember too that a certain group of people are going to be vaccinated first, the healthcare workers and the old, the young. And more than likely, it's going to be hard to keep this vaccine secure. It has to be kept at, I believe, 95 degrees below zero. Is it? Which is going to be hard to do. That means it might be able to be kept in hospitals that are able to keep that low temperature. There's talk that it might take, more than likely, it'll take 2 vaccinations to get this to work. So we're talking. What I'm getting at here is it's going to take a while. This isn't just going to turn around in January, February, March, or April. That's not going to happen. So if you guys haven't seen the numbers yet, you really need to see what's going on in this country. It is terrifying. It's not just people getting sick with sniffles. Every day, like I was saying, it's more than likely, in my opinion, we're going to hit 200,000 new cases a day, probably by Wednesday or Thursday. That's my opinion. Last week, we hit 184,000 new cases in one day. It's in a free fall, completely out of control. One of the interesting things, too, is North and South Dakota are at the top of new infections, new deaths, new hospitalizations. And I thought back to, they were 2 of the states that had the biggest pushback against wearing a mask, and they seemed, in my opinion, to be very pro-Trump. I remember Trump going there. I don't know if it was South Dakota, and all the Trump supporters gathering, most of them without masks. And look what's happening now. I don't know if that's a direct result of those rallies, but it doesn't look good for them. All right. So I started thinking about what Trump is doing right now. All right. Okay, so say he's got these gripes about the election, and I've gone over every one of these about dead people voting, about too many people on the voting list, about Dominion, like those three things that people that would stop the vote or stop the steal thing bring up, and they can all be easily disproven. Okay, but still, let's give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. If he wants to keep questioning this, he can still do that and use his lawyers, have his lawyers pursue these pointless allegations and cases in court. The important thing here is you could see that he's just completely given up as president, just completely given up. Besides for this thing with the Defense Department, and that's still questionable what he's doing there. I thought about ideally, imagine if we had a president right now that actually cared about the American people. Imagine if we see Joe Biden already hitting the ground running with this COVID-19 stuff, organizing his team, his cabinet, and all that. Imagine if Donald Trump actually cared about America, about what could happen. He could still pursue his claims if he needs to. If that's, I guess he's got the right to complain that it was a rigged election. It's his opinion, and he could still pursue that. Have his lawyers pursue that. But imagine if he actually cared about America. He could have his lawyers pursuing these pointless allegations on one hand, but he could imagine if he invited Joe Biden into the White House and said, "Look, I dispute, you're winning, but let's talk about the American people and let's talk about this COVID-19 virus. Let's get together right now and work on this together for the American people. come up with a plan, an overall. That's one thing I think that we're missing here. We talk about states having independence and their own governing rules and all this, but I really feel like we're disorganized overall as a country in the response to this, because obviously we're doing something wrong. Like I said, these new cases, it's in a free fall with these new numbers just exploding. Imagine if Donald Trump did the right thing and said, I care about America, I care about COVID-19, and invited Biden into the White House, or to sit down, to work with his team, to work with Dr. Fauci, to everybody get together. Doesn't mean he has to acknowledge, doesn't even mean that he has to acknowledge that Biden won. If he just simply cared about the country, had his lawyers pursuing the pointless allegations on the side, which is all he's doing anyway. All he's doing is golfing, watching Fox News, and tweeting anyway. Imagine if he took that time to actually work for the American people, work together with Joe Biden, Joe Biden's new team and Fauci and Trump's old team. Imagine if they all sat down and actually cared about the country and sat down and worked on this problem. But that's not what's happening. He's out golfing every single day. And when he's not golfing, he's watching this butt-kissing Fox News and tweeting nonstop. I think we all put up with these tweets. We've kind of turned a blind eye to it, shrugged for the last 2 weeks almost. And these tweets are just to call them embarrassing, disgraceful, childish, juvenile. It doesn't even capture what's really going on here anymore. Just especially yesterday, when he said Joe Biden won because, and then people jumped on it saying, are you admitting? Are you conceding? And after that, for the next 8, 10, 12 hours on Twitter, it was just a nonstop, just barrage of, I won, rigged election. Imagine if he used that time. Imagine if he just let his lawyers pursue that and actually use that time to think about the American people. He's still the president of the United States. Imagine what we could get done. Imagine the progress. Imagine how it would just simply make the country overall come together and feel better if he just invited Biden and his team into the White House to get together with him and go over the biggest threat to this country right now. Imagine how simple and the rewards that would bring. But no, he's golfing, tweeting, and watching Fox News and crying nonstop about rigged elections. And now he actually wants to run again in 2024. And people will actually vote for him if we survive this COVID-19 thing. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Monday.